Hey, Perfect Game Nation. Welcome to Perfect Game Outdoors. Today we're going to be talking about broadheads. Thank you so much for joining me today. I was editing this video and it felt like I was beating up on my previous broadheads, and I really didn't want the video to come off that way. I think that Rage makes an awesome broadhead. I really do. I just was not happy with it, and I'm going to explain why. But first, let me get into the broadhead that I chose. I chose the Swacker. This is a crossbow broadhead. It's called the 260. There's a lot of broadheads that are like this one, but I'm just going to share with you why I chose it. Number one, I chose because of this point. I really like a chisel point. Try to get a close-up of that for you, but I love these chisel points. I think they do really, really well. I think that they break bone better. This is a carbon steel point, so it's really sharp. I mean, it is very sharp. You can feel it. It stays sharp, and it just the way it has that chisel on it, it just seems to tear through the bone and just split bone very, very well. I like the aluminum ferrule. I think it has a lot of strength. I like the design of it. I really, really like these bleeder blades. I love those bleeder blades. This is what would be called a hybrid, okay, mechanical, because it does have these fixed blades on it. But these guys, so this acts like a four-bladed mechanical broadhead. Love these bleeder blades. Seems to give you just that little extra oomph. I have one here without the collar, so you can see when it's opened. That's what you get when it's open. This is a 2¼ inch cutting diameter. Now, that's 2¼ inches if you go straight in, right? We don't always do that. We're coming in on a little bit of an angle, so you'll get that little cross cut. I've seen anywhere from 2½ to almost 4-inch holes in the deer that I've shot. So I really like that. Now, when we talk mechanical broadheads, there's two kind of categories in the mechanical world. And one is this one, which would be the front opening. So as you can see, these open to the front, right? That's what I like about these. I like that what happens is these little, which are sharp also, blades catch the hide, and it starts the opening process. Once this tip gets outside of there, it's automatically, there's no way, shape, or form for this to do anything but come all the way down, right? It's just physics. Once this thing gets open a little bit, boom, it goes down automatically. That's an open broadhead that's going to come out open, okay? You're not going to have a problem with it not opening, right? I've heard that some of these broadheads, and not this particular brand, but on other brands, that these break. These are not going to break. They're a little thicker than what I think your normal one is. They may bend. I have had them bend, but hey, they still cut when they're bent. So that's key to me. I like the front opening because I feel like they're always going to open. I really like that to keep them closed. It's just this little collar. It's a shrink tube collar. So you slide it on there. Most of the time it's tight enough, but if you have to, you just add just a touch of heat to it. It'll make it nice and tight and it won't come apart in flight. But when it takes very little effort to get them to open. So you're not worried about this type of broadhead not opening. So the three major points is the tip, the way it opens, and really these bleeder blades for me. That was kind of the selling point. All right. Now we'll go into my previous broadhead, which is, everybody knows this, Rage Hypodermic, probably one of the most popular broadheads out there. I think it's a great broadhead. I think if you're shooting speeds that are 400 plus miles an hour, I would recommend you not use this. That's me personally. All right. If you're having luck with it, continue to use it. But what happens on these type of broadheads is you have this locking collar. Can't really see it that well, but you have this locking collar that goes on the back, and that locks the blades into place, right? What happens then is the hide comes and it hits this area right here. I'm going to try to give you a little bit of a close-up of that. This area right here, okay? And then what happens is that pushes on this, which breaks this collar, and then the blades go back. I gotta put my glasses on for this. I'm getting old. I can't see as well. But what I don't like about these, okay, like I said before, when it's a front, if it gets out a little bit, it automatically is going to go back. This one here, right? If this is pushing on this, if there's more force on this side, like it hits a bone or something, it can just fall right back up, right? Until it gets down into that locked position, which force going through does that. But you got to remember, once you get through the hide, there is some air in that cavity, and those organs are not as tough as the hide. So unfortunately, I've had very, very poor blood trails with this. And I don't think it's the broadhead. I think it's the speed of the crossbow. I shoot a 415 feet per second crossbow. Now, it doesn't shoot that because I shoot a little bit of heavier arrow, but it's probably pretty close to the 400s. And I think because of that, there's not enough surface area on these to get this to fully open. Now, of course, when it hits the ground, it's open. That's no big deal. Also, these collars, I know these have been a problem in the past because the newer ones that are coming out, I think they're coming out midsummer, they're not round anymore. Okay? They're triangular. And then the shaft of this is triangular. And so, which I think is probably an engineering marvel. I mean, I love it. It keys it so you can't get this on wrong, right? That's really kind of one of the problems with this is people don't read the instructions. We're men, we don't do that. And so what happens is this doesn't always get on exactly like you want it to get on. So it might be in between the two tabs, it might be not. And then that changes the dynamics of the broadhead itself. What force it takes to open this. It doesn't here. You put the band on, you give it a little shrink, boom, you're done. It's going to be the same force all the time. So that's why I really, really like these. One thing about broadheads, whatever broadhead you're using, I think only one deer, maybe two deer I've had in since I've switched to these, especially, or I've not gotten a pass through. Okay, one deer I remember my 5-point hit the shoulder on this side, busted the shoulder up, came through and popped this shoulder popped this shoulder away, and the deer basically went down right there. What they call digging taters. So that was not a pass through. And what I'm getting at with this is sharp blades. This is a very, very sharp blade on here. When this goes into the dirt, I take it apart, I throw the blades in the garbage safely. I have a new pack of blades. I then put those in and I'm ready for my next hunt. I don't reuse blades. To me, it's like a chainsaw. Everybody who has a chainsaw and it has a new blade on it, you cut the wood, man, that thing goes through there just like a hot knife through butter. Just beautiful. But what happens is as soon as you touch the ground with that blade, it is so dull you can't get it to go through a piece of wood. I believe that's kind of the same way here. Once these go into the ground, will they go through the animal? Sure they will, but they're not cutting. Ask any chef. A sharp knife bleeds way more than a dull knife. And that's what we're really after, is to make the deer expire or your animal expire as quickly as possible. And you do that by bleeding the animal out. So I would recommend that whatever broadheads you choose, once you've shot them, replace the blades, right? Or put a new broadhead on. You don't have to get swackers. There's a lot of companies that use front opening, technology, which like I said, I think that's better. You might not have that big of an entry hole, but you're going to have a huge exit hole. And hence the bleeder blades you get. I mean, I get 2-3 inch entry holes and 3.5, 4 inch exit holes. So very, very good broadhead. But I wanted to touch base on that because I did say in my last video how I really liked these broadheads. And it's not so much the brand of broadhead that I like, it's the design of broadhead that I like. And it's worked very, very well for us here on Perfect Game Outdoors. So if you're looking for a new broadhead, I would recommend, of course, looking at the Swackers. But if you don't want to buy Swackers, that's fine too. Go to if you have a manufacturer you like, go to them, and I'm sure they have something very similar. Give it a try and let me know what you find. And as always, remember, we're not just outdoorsmen, we're a nation.